so this is a part 2 of your Vehicles United, where we will actually build the website step by step. Now, before we build and add anything, the first thing we should add is create a database. Okay, because the pages are ready, registrations, login, thank you, but we need a database so that we can connect them quickly one by one. Now, how many fields you will require in your database? Name, surname, email, contact number, login ID, and a password. So 6 columns. In one column, we will add extra for ID, which is a unique identifier for your records. To do that, we decided we're not going to go through the process of creating database. So for your convenience, I have created a database here, as you can see here, which is called vehicle-db. Okay, if I click on this database, I have already created for you a table in it called members. Okay, and in the members table, I've got columns called ID, name, surname, email, number, login ID, and password. Correct? So we got those values as well. I've just entered some fictional record to test my database. Now new records will come from registration process. You'll be okay up to this stage, right? Creating a database. The database name is VehicleDB and table name is members. So now our task is to connect this database and tables with our PHP forms. All right. Now for that, we go back to Dreamweaver and we start with the first page, which is the registration page. Now in order to do the connectivity with the database, we need 2 things. We need to create a connection. Okay, or we can say connection as well. To create the connections, we use our windows from window menu and we select the database tab. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump to that part. Rest of the site is there by default. So for the registration page, let's go to the window menu and from the window select the database tab. From the databases tab, it will ask you to form the connection from the right hand side. Now here, when you go home, if these 3 things has not been set, then they won't appear ticked. It will appear grayed out. Okay, now these 3 things are just simply defining your site, defining the testing site and the remote site. Where do we define all these things? We go to the site menu. So if this is grayed out, nothing to worry, just click on site, okay, and it will start opening this panel. You can see I have labeled my site as VU. My local root folder is inside htdocs folder called Vehicle United. Default images are inside assets. That's my local info. Remote info, I'm selecting access type as local network, and the remote folder is also again same folder, which is under htdocs. And for the testing server, my server model is PHP MySQL, access type is local network, and again the testing server is same folder. As long as you do these 3 configurations of local info, remote info, and testing server, you will be okay. All these things will come tick the database thing. Only when I press F12, if I want to go back to my page directly, I should go to the URL prefix under the testing server, and after the local host, you should just type the name of your folder as it is. Okay, so that your local host will point directly with your htdocs folders. All right. Now with this, if I just say okay, my site is defined. All 3 things are defined. As you can see, they are ticked. The only thing we need to do is create a connection. Okay. To create a connection, we click on the plus symbol and we select MySQL connection. Again, this process is common throughout. What should we write connection name? Anything. There is no thumb rule for that, what the connection name should be, as long as you can remember it. So I'm just saying my connection name as connect1. SQL Server will always be localhost, so just type localhost Username will always be root because we are working with local computers. The password, there is no password when we work with PHP locally, so leave this also blank. And in the database, we have to select that vehicles-db database, which we just created recently. So I'm just going to click on select. It will show you all the databases in your local host, right? Select the one you want, vehicle-db. Okay. Test it. It prompts you that you didn't insert the password. It's fair enough. Say okay. But still test it one more time to get this wonderful message. Okay. If you get this, your connection has done correct. Yes. Password you can't type because password you should type it if you have done your XAMPP installation like that way. When you install your XAMPP, in your XAMPP you have security informations and so much. Here you can make your password more secure by writing administration passwords and so on. Okay, but right now the MySQL admin password, as you can see here, there is no password. That's why we don't enter password. You can do that to make it secure, but it's tedious because if you forget, you will have to uninstall the whole XAMPP and redo the installations. There's no way you can get back that things. So ideally, because you're working locally, means within your own computer, you don't need to make it that secure. Okay, and in future, once you finish your local designing, you're gonna go and upload it online to your FTP server. So when you do that, your FTP provider will give you your database name, your database passwords, and so on. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I would advise you to keep it nil for the local purposes. All right. So if I go back, let's go back to the normal database stuff. Are we clear with the creating connection? It's created successfully, so that's fine. When I say OK, you can see that the databases panel shows connect one as our bridge of between the database and between the PHP page. Now, what we need to do is we need to connect these form values with the columns of the database. Okay, so once we create the connection, we go to the server behaviors tab. Okay, in the server behaviors, again you can see number 1, 2, 3 is already ticked. So because the site is defined, so more or less work is gone. We go back to the plus symbol and we say insert record, because we are taking values from the form and inserting it. Just click the insert record. It takes everything automatic. It will select your form name, because the way I have designed the form. Connection name, it selects the table automatically because there's only one table in the database, and it shows all your columns. Now ID, I'm using it for primary key, but other columns like name, Dreamweaver don't know in the name column from which text field he should take the values from. So that task is up to you. You have to tell Dreamweaver that for the name text field, as I've highlighted, select the value from first name. Okay? For the surname column in my table, take the value from last name. Now, first name, last name, these are actually the text field IDs. Okay? For the email text field, it takes automatically. For the number, take the value from contact text field. For login, take the value from login field. And for password, take it from, or it takes it automatically. ID is a primary ID. It will automatically increment because in database we set that field as auto increment. So it will automatically increment as per the records. Now once you think all these things will connect correctly, so after inserting the records, go to where? Browse thankyou.php page. So when the records goes to the database, the browser will automatically show you thank you page. Okay, let's quickly say okay. Job done. Okay, let's quickly test it. I'm going to go and save this page. F12, so testing server directly goes to this page because this is the way we configured it. And now if I'll type some values, Curry, Taylor, whatever the records we have, register me, column login can't be null. What happened with the column? Some error. So I'm just going to go back to server behavior to see. Oh yes, we forgot to select the text field for the login. Do you see that? So I'm going to quickly select the login. Text field is login. Yeah. Let's say OK. Save it. Preview the page. And type the values. Okay. Again, same thing. Why is keep going back? Form.login. I did. It's going back to the same thing. What's the funny reason? Let me change the text field ID to login ID. Maybe it's the same name, column name and table. So let's try with this. Check login from login ID. No. Right. That's really funny. Let me go back and check it. Let me stop the